Jeremy, welcome to this session on Lead to Close. Uh, you have really deep and vast experience in what we call lead gen, right?
Hmm.
You have seen that very, very closely, and you're involved in a very interesting experiment at this point with request for meeting. Uh, I would like to know from you, as an expert, what do you see is wrong or inefficient about the way we go about generating leads, and what can help us do better?
Yeah, I mean, I just think overall as a profession, we just need to level up our game and step our game up, because I think um, you know, the buyers, you just have to put yourself in the buyer's shoe, or shoes. They're probably not wearing just one. Um, you know, they're like desensitized, the buyers, like let's just say for example you're selling to the director of IT for Bank of America, that person is desensitized to all the different types of, prospecting they're getting hit with, and so it's not always just like more is better, a volume thing, you know. So I think, you just have to level up your game. It's about targeting and messaging at the end of the day, really. And you just have to level up your game so that you're focused on, your targeting is better than it was before, and your messaging is better than it was before. You got to keep always, sharpening your sword and iterating and adjusting what you're doing with your targeting and messaging. In terms of targeting, you know, um, I when I was at Lead IQ, my previous job, I built a spreadsheet where and this isn't anything too earth-shattering, but like really digging deep and understanding who are your best customers right now, and and obviously this is a little bit tricky if you're a really new early stage startup and maybe you have zero customers or you only have like three or four. But even if you only have like 10 or 20 customers, like who are the 20 companies that are paying you the most money right now? And are your happiest customers paying you the most money? Put those 20 companies on a spreadsheet, so one column says account, the next column says number of employees, the next column says where location wise, where are they based? The next column says industry, you know, um, and then maybe the last column says why did they buy from you, and then you have a column that says the person who was the champion that really saw the most value, what was their title, and that's it. You can kind of just keep it simple to that. You don't have to get too complex with it, but and then you can keep adding on. Maybe as you keep growing and scaling your company, you grow it to be like your top 40 or 50 customers. But that becomes your Bible for your targeting and figuring out what companies should you be reaching out to and who are the right people at those companies should you be reaching out to, because you're looking at that spreadsheet to try to find commonalities and trends, and if you're like, oh well, actually pretty much all of our best customers are between 200 to 500 employees, let's only sell to those let's only reach out to those companies.
Yeah.
Or, oh, out of our top 10 customers, 9 of them are in New York City, let's double down on New York City. And just kind of, you go from there with targeting. And then in terms of messaging, you iterate and adjust. I'm constantly iterating and adjusting. If I find that that certain wording and messaging in emails or LinkedIn messages or cold calls, whatever, is working better, I'll double down on that. If I get like, I'm literally doing this stuff right now. Like literally just I think it was on Friday, I created a document with my CEO, because the two of us are the only ones really that are doing a lot of outreach and outbound and prospecting right now. And because he sent me a screenshot of a LinkedIn message, or I think it was an email. Yeah, it was an email actually, where the prospect replied to his email, and they said, oh, thanks for reaching out, blah, 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 whatever they said. But they said, I don't know, I don't think we should, I don't, I don't think I should meet with you right now. It would probably just be, a waste of both of our time. And, and so whatever it was with that email, that email didn't work. Something with the
Hmm.
messaging, that he used caused that prospect to think that a 30-minute meeting with us would be a waste of both of our time. So I went to this, I created a document just in Google Docs, screenshotted that email that he sent, and I just have, like, on the Google Docs, I just have worked and didn't work, And so that one didn't work. I put that in the didn't work section of that document. And then I went and I was like, actually, I booked a few meetings in the past week or two, between LinkedIn and email. And I found the message that I used that got a positive response and got a meeting. And so I just screenshotted those, and so I got like three, and it's a living, breathing document. It'll continue
Sure.
to change
Hmm.
and adjust. And like, we'll just keep adding and updating it. But right now, just the other day, I added three, screenshots in that worked section because they
Hmm.
worked. They got meetings, and then that email that he sent, I put that in the didn't work. And then that's kind of, messaging, and we'll just kind of like keep testing it and iterating and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll kind of just pause there. I feel I said a lot, so I don't want to go on, on like a tangent or anything.
No, no, I think it makes so much sense. I can also sort of add that you mentioned that if it's too early as a company, you have only few, then a good way to do it is to look at your competitors and see who their customers are, to do the
Sure.
same
Yep.
thing that you do with
Hmm.
your. I mean, you'll not have all the data, you'll not know who actually they sold to, so you'll not have the champion, but you'll
Hmm.
still have a lot is geographical details and size of company, some things which are public information. At least that bit you can gather as a young company, right?
Yep.
uh,
And you can go to their website and that competitor's website, and if you're
yeah,
not sure, like you said, if you're not sure who the champion would be,
yeah,
um, look at the case study.
yeah,
If they have some case studies, or even
yeah,
not necessarily like a full blown long, long with
right.
video or like word, bunch of paragraphs case study. A lot of companies these days, I'm sure will
Hmm.
just have on their homepage of their website a bunch of, like, little 1 or 2 sentence quote.
Testimonials.
Yeah, little quote testimonials
Yeah,
where it's got the person's picture or their title or
right.
something, and they said this. Okay, well, they got six of those quote testimonial things, and then out of those six, it looks like 5 out of 6 all have the same title.
Yeah,
Oh, it looks like these guys are only selling to VP of Client Services.
right, right,
Maybe that's
absolutely.
what we should be reaching out to.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I think it makes so much sense. So, do you see that this automation on the ability to reach out to very large numbers
Hmm.
is somehow actually being counterproductive?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've never really been much of an automation person, with big numbers and big volume. Um when I first started at Lead IQ, I looked at some of our cadences in Sales Loft that, like, from right before, like, the 3 months before I joined,
Okay.
and there was some automated cadences that were just kind of, there was three of them. There was three cadences, and they were for three different buyer personas: SDR manager, director of sales operations, or VP of sales. If you had one of those titles, you would go in the corresponding
Hmm.
cadence. And there was a few emails that would go out to the people, and they were personalized. There was no personalization really to the individual
Hmm.
company or to that person. It was just personalized around that buyer persona, around that
Right.
title, and what we're guessing those titles might care about. Um, and they were all software companies between like 50 to 500 employees, so kind of broad. Um, and they performed terribly, like, terribly, because this was heavy volume and automation. Like, I think there was, um, like a total of, for each of those three buckets, three buyer personas, there was maybe like like 300 or so, roughly 300 people in each one. So
Mm-hmm.
this is basically the exact same messaging going out to like 900 people essentially. Um, and they performed terribly. I think more people unsubscribed than actually replied to
Hmm.
those emails. And out of the replies, most of them were just saying like, not interested, take me off your list. Performed terribly. And then, I just started, like, for the most part, at once I saw that, and then the other thing that happened to me when I was early there at Lead IQ, I did a little bit of automation where I kind of took like a big list and I would try to personalize the messaging a little bit. And I got a really nasty response back via email from somebody, and they even CC'd our CEO,
Hmm.
the CEO of our company. They CC'd her, and they said you shouldn't be letting your reps send out messaging like this. It kind of shook me to my core. I kind of shook me
Hmm.
up a little bit. I was like, oh geez, I feel bad now. I was kind of sad,
Hmm.
because he called me out with my CEO there. And basically what he said was why he was calling me out, why he saw the messaging that I used as so bad, was because he was like saying, you're not, like, you as a rep aren't showing me that you know anything about my business and the type of leads, because it was Lead IQ. We're selling a tool that can get contact information for your prospects. And he is saying, well, you don't know, you're not showing that you did any research on me or my business, or that and that the type of leads that I would be even looking for. We sell to blah 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 types of people. And like, that's why he kind of got mad. And so I adjusted my messaging accordingly. One thing that I started to incorporate in my messaging right after that, I would use our own product, and I would go in and I would actually do a little bit of research, not too much, because it's that
Hmm.
balance, between, you don't
Sure.
want to spend too much time on any one email, and I would kind of like do a little bit of research and figure out, okay, before I reach out to this company, who do I think they sell to? Who's their customer? And I would go to their website, I'd look at those testimonials or case studies, and then I would pull a list of prospects from our product, and using LinkedIn Sales Navigator as well, because our tool works with LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And I wouldn't spend too much time. I would kind of, it wouldn't be like this, like, really doing a bunch of research and try to get an exact who their buyer persona and
Hmm.
ICP is. It was kind of just loosely, just enough to show that person I'm reaching out to that I did some research and I know who they sell to and I know what they do as a business. And, so maybe I would kind of pull a list of, looks like, based on what they do, CIOs, in the healthcare industry that have like 1,000 to 5,000 employees, all in North America. It looks like that might be who they're selling to. So I would take that list using our own product, and screenshot it. And, it would have like the first name, last name, title, email, and mobile phone number, and industry and number of employees. That's it, right? Doesn't have to be too, if it's more than that, it won't really fit in the
Yeah.
screenshot, So I just screenshotted that. And then I said in the email, hey, so and so, looks like you guys sell to so and so buyer persona. Just giving you a quick like taste of what our data looks like for those types of people. Boom, here's the screenshot. Here's 10 leads on me. Let me know if you guys have any success. Maybe get some of these over to your reps, and they might be able to book a couple meetings. And if they book a couple meetings, then they're much more likely to take a meeting with me. Just kind of something along those lines. And that is I started doing that after that person called me out with my CEO on there, because I'm like, okay, I want to show these people that I did the research. That I know what they do as a business. And once I started to kind of slow down, use less automation, and like, do more personalization, and do more research and stuff, I did start to have a lot more success.
This sounds so logical, and you wonder why everybody wouldn't do that. Why would not everybody reach out to only 10 prospects a day in this manner
Mhm.
and rather prefer to do 70 calls?
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I was, like you said, 10 prospects. I was doing maybe, at the time when I was kind of slowing down and doing some research and looking it up and doing the
Mhm.
screenshots, I was, I was probably reaching out to like maybe 20 people, 10 or 20,
Yeah, that's
like
great. Yeah, exactly. I
maybe,
mean,
maybe only 10 or 12, like really highly
mm,
customized, personalized emails, but I also was doing a lot of social selling stuff as well,
mm,
building my brand on LinkedIn. So like a few of the, a few of the touch points per day that I was doing were, just like really quick LinkedIn messages to people that I had already known and built a network. But yeah, I mean, like you said, why wouldn't they do that? And the answer, obviously, as you know, is because it doesn't scale, right? Like so many, companies would be like, oh, well, I don't want, I can't have my reps like only email 10 people a day. Like, no, we have our numbers and we have our KPIs and I mean, it's just kind of like, but that's an old school mentality, like what are the conversion rates of that and how many people are unsubscribing and how many of these prospects are you pissing off and having that person email the CEO like maybe they haven't seen that happen, but it just from my experience that like lower volume, more customized approach has worked a lot better.
you hit the nail on the head by saying KPI. I mean, if you're focused on the wrong KPI,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter what number you get to, it's not
Yep.
going to help, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, exactly. People are more focused on, how many emails they're sending out, how many calls they're making. When it really what matters most is the responses. Are they positive responses? Are you getting meetings? Are you getting meetings with the right people? Because maybe you're blasting out doing all this automation and getting meetings, but you didn't slow down and take the time to really drill into your ICP. So you're reaching out to it's a maybe your list isn't targeted enough. So you got 10 meetings, but if you did all crazy amounts of automation, you got 10 meetings. I took the time to slow down and have a more targeted focus list and have more customized messaging. Maybe I only got 5 meetings, but my 5 meetings are probably going to be a much higher quality, than,
yeah,
it'll be less quantity, but probably more quality. And out of those 5 meetings, 3 of them are probably going to be closed won deals compared to
yeah,
the 10 that with all this automation and blasting it out and getting 10 meetings, probably 8 out of the 10 of those, like they're not even going to show up,
exactly.
and out of those other two, one of them's going to get like disqualified after the first call. Maybe one of them turns into a close one deal when I got 3 close one deals over here. So you got to
Yeah,
kind of, you know,
absolutely.
um,
Do you recall what kind of response you were getting when you were doing this, like 20 sort of personalized outreach? Would you recall what it looked like?
yeah, I mean, the best that I did at the high at my peak um, was when I was at Lead IQ. I was getting at one point like a 40% reply rate to,
Mm,
and these are, to cold emails.
yeah,
Which I mean, which is insane. I mean, like the industry average is like 1%, right now, one and
yeah,
a half percent. Some reps who are doing really good, some like superstar reps that are the rock star reps, like I'll see they can do like they can get up to maybe 10%, on cold email reply rate, maybe 20 if they're really awesome. I was at 40%, like, which is crazy. But, that
yeah,
was a combination of really deep making sure that, the really deep focus on the targeting and the messaging. And I was, had a really strong social selling game to build my brand and stuff so
yeah,
that a
yeah.
lot of the times the people I'm reaching out to already know who I am,
Mm,
or a lot of times I would reach out to people and it was very strategic because I would see they're somebody who just got a new job and at their previous company they were a customer of ours. I mean, that
yeah,
stuff,
sure.
stuff that a lot of people are doing, these days. But that just shows you the level of like it was very, very tactical and strategic. Reach out to those types of people, or you know, um, reaching out to somebody who reason why I was reaching out to them was based off of I just saw they posted something on LinkedIn about how they're in the market for a tool like this, and I reach out to them. So what do you think the percentage of reply rate is going to be if they just literally posted, hey, I'm looking at Lucia or Seamless or Lead IQ. We need to make a decision here in the next couple of months. Like, like when you kind of have that level of like research and you're seeing those type of signals that I reach out, obviously that reply rate is going to be like 90%, so you kind of have, it's a matter of the strategy of it.
Right.
And like, and also like I would sometimes close a deal or book a meeting and stay in touch with that person. And either A, they're going to leave 6 months later, go to a new company and book another meeting, or they had such a good experience working with me that 6 months later, they give me a referral. And I just randomly will get a LinkedIn message or an email where somebody says, hey, Jeremy, like I was talking to so and so from this other company, and they said they have a need for what your product does. Like, I'll let you take it from here, and I get all these referrals. So, kind of
Sure.
stuff like that will, just like it's all about the strategy of it. And, then that helps to get those reply rates even higher.
What is coming for this lead gen space? What do you see is sort of the future, so to say, from where you are?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's all about we're going to see, I think, less and less of these automated, sequences and cadences and campaigns on autopilot. But at the same time, it's like there's two like ends of the spectrum. On one end, I'm seeing more and more, and like I'm seeing certain tactics and tools out there that are like taking the automation even higher, even like to like higher levels. I literally just got a LinkedIn message like a day or two ago from somebody who said, "Hey, we just have this new product that can get around LinkedIn's rules because LinkedIn only lets you connect with, whatever it is, like 100 people per week or something.
Right.
We can using our technology, we can 5x that." And I'm like thinking to myself, I don't know if that's a good thing. Like, I don't know about that. Like, so I think there's just this convergence that's going to happen of all these tools that are trying to do all this automation and let you scale, where on the other end of the spectrum, it's the opposite, where reps are being more tactical. And I saw a tweet somebody made the other day where he actually says like the opposite of this, like, we'll let you 5x what LinkedIn allows you to do with LinkedIn connection requests. He says now the future is getting back to in-person meetings, and he shared all these statistics and data about if you meet with a customer in person, they're like, whatever the percentage is, like much more likely to buy from you and recommend your product to other people later and renew with you. So there's that other opposite end where it's like, no, less automation. Let's actually get out of the office, meet with customers in person and make more of a personal connection with people. Or, there's like other things that you can do to kind of have less automation and more of that personal touch. So I think it's going to go more in that direction and less of the automation. But if you can kind of use some of the automation in strategic ways, it might be able to help you. But I think we're heading back to more of that personal connection. And hopefully now that we're out of COVID, like there'll be more in-person events and conferences and stuff. Like I just went to an event or conference a few months ago, and it was so great to actually see people in person and shake their hands and stuff. And even though, like, I think everybody had to wear a mask though, we're still kind of in that mask,
Sure.
but yeah, I think it's going to head more in that direction of less automation, like more of like trying to actually talk to people like human beings.
Yeah, conversations. That's right. That's what I always say, that conversation will come before conversion happens. And if you're not having enough conversations, you're not likely to have enough conversions. Jeremy, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate your taking the time, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.